Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I want to share something with you, a story that lives in my heart, a story about pain and love and the kind of hope that sneaks up on you when you least expect it. This isn't a fairy tale with perfect people or happy endings that come easy. This is about real hurt, real fear, and real love that stays even when everything else falls apart. This is about her, the one who saw me at my worst and didn't walk away. This is about how a simple hug can mean everything when you feel like you're nothing. So please sit with me for a while. Let me tell you how she saved me, not by fixing me, but by refusing to let me face the darkness alone. I never believed I deserved to be loved, not really, not the way other people seemed to deserve it so easily. I spent most of my life building walls so high that even I forgot what it felt like to let someone in. My past was full of mistakes that kept me awake at night, whispering that I wasn't good enough, that I was too damaged, too broken, too much of a mess for anyone to want to stay. I carried my shame like a heavy coat I couldn't take off, even on the hottest days. It became part of me. I thought that was just how life would be, me alone, keeping everyone at a safe distance so they wouldn't see the cracks, so they wouldn't know how much I was falling apart inside. And then she came into my life, and everything I thought I knew about love started to crumble. We met at a coffee shop on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. I remember because I had been crying in my car for 20 minutes before I finally convinced myself to go inside. My eyes were red and puffy, and I kept my head down, hoping no one would notice. I ordered my coffee with a shaky voice, and when I turned to find a seat, I bumped right into her. My coffee spilled everywhere, on the floor, on her shoes, on the edge of her bag. I felt my chest tighten with panic. I started apologizing over and over, my hands trembling as I grabbed napkins, but she just laughed. Not a mean laugh, but a warm one, the kind that made you feel like maybe the world wasn't ending after all. "It's okay," she said, smiling at me with these kind eyes that seemed to see right through my walls. "It's just coffee. Are you okay?" No one ever asked me that. No one ever looked at me like that. And for some reason, I wanted to cry all over again. We started talking that day, and somehow, talking to her felt easier than talking to anyone else ever had. She didn't push, didn't ask too many questions, just listened. Over the next few weeks, we kept running into each other at that same coffee shop. And every time, she would smile like she was genuinely happy to see me. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why someone like her, someone who seemed so full of light, would want to spend time with someone like me, someone who felt like a shadow. But she did. She kept showing up, kept asking how I was, kept making me laugh even when I felt like I had forgotten how. Slowly, without even realizing it, I started to let her in, just a little, just enough to feel something other than the constant ache in my chest. But the closer she got, the more terrified I became. Because I knew what would happen. I knew that eventually she would see the real me, the one who was broken and scared and full of regret. And she would leave. Everyone always left. Why would she be any different? So I started pulling away. I stopped going to the coffee shop as often. I made excuses when she texted. I built my walls back up, higher and stronger than before. I told myself it was better this way, that I was protecting her from the mess that I was. But she didn't let me disappear. She kept reaching out, kept asking if I was okay, kept telling me that she missed seeing me. And that scared me even more, because I didn't know what to do with someone who refused to give up on me. One night, everything fell apart. I had a panic attack so bad that I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't do anything but sit on my kitchen floor and sob. I felt like I was drowning in my own mind, like all the pain and shame and fear I had been carrying for so long was finally crushing me. I didn't want to bother anyone, didn't want to be a burden, but in that moment of desperation, I texted her. I don't even remember what I said. Something about not being okay, about feeling like I couldn't do this anymore. I didn't expect her to respond. It was late, and I figured she was probably asleep or busy or just tired of dealing with me. But within minutes, my phone rang. It was her. Her voice was soft and steady, and she told me to breathe with her, to count with her, to just stay on the line. She didn't hang up, not even when I couldn't speak, not even when all she could hear was my crying. She just stayed, and then she said, "I'm coming over." I told her not to. I told her I was fine, that I didn't need her to come, that it was too late and too far and I would be okay. But she didn't listen. 20 minutes later, there was a knock on my door. I opened it, and there she was, standing in my doorway with rain dripping from her hair and concern written all over her face. I must have looked like a disaster, my eyes swollen, my face blotchy, my whole body shaking. I opened my mouth to apologize, to tell her she shouldn't have come, to push her away like I always did. But before I could say anything, she stepped forward and wrapped her arms around me. She hugged me, not a quick, polite hug, but a real one, the kind that makes you feel like you're being held together when you're falling apart. And I broke. I cried into her shoulder, and she didn't let go. She just held me, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel so alone. After that night, I tried to explain myself. I tried to tell her all the reasons why she shouldn't care about me, why I wasn't worth her time, why she should just walk away and save herself the trouble. I told her about my past, about the mistakes I had made, about the person I used to be, and the guilt that I carried every single day. I told her about the nights I couldn't sleep, about the days I could barely get out of bed, about the voice in my head that never stopped telling me I wasn't good enough. I laid it all out, every ugly, broken piece of me, expecting her to finally see the truth and leave. But she didn't. She sat there and listened to every word, and when I was done, she looked at me with those same kind eyes and said, "None of that changes how I feel about you." I didn't believe her. How could I? How could someone look at all of my mess and still want to stay? I pushed her away again, told her she didn't understand, that she was just being nice, that eventually she would get tired of me. I was mean sometimes, snapping at her when she got too close, shutting down when she asked how I was really doing. I tested her, waiting for the moment when she would finally give up, but she never did. Every time I pushed, she stayed. Every time I built a wall, she gently waited on the other side. She didn't try to fix me or change me or tell me I was being dramatic. She just loved me, quietly, patiently. Without conditions. There was this one day when everything came crashing down again. I had a really bad day at work. One of those days where everything went wrong, and I felt like I couldn't do anything right. I came home feeling defeated and worthless, and all those old thoughts came flooding back. I texted her and told her I needed space, that I wasn't good company, that she should just forget about me for a while. But an hour later, she showed up at my door with takeout food and a soft smile. "You don't have to talk," she said. "I just didn't want you to be alone." We sat on my couch in silence, eating our food, and I felt the tears start to fall again. I felt so embarrassed, so weak, so tired of always being the one who was falling apart. I turned away from her, trying to hide my face, but she noticed. She always noticed. She set down her food and moved closer to me. "Hey," she said softly, "it's okay." And then she hugged me again. She hugged me like it was the most natural thing in the world, like my tears didn't scare her, like my brokenness didn't make her uncomfortable. She hugged me anyway. I started to realize something then. She wasn't staying because she didn't see my flaws. She wasn't staying because she was naive or because she didn't understand how broken I was. She was staying because she chose to. She saw all of me, the good, the bad, the messy, the broken. And she chose to love me anyway. That was the hardest thing to accept. Because I had spent so long believing that love was something you had to earn, something you had to deserve, something that could be taken away the moment you messed up. But her love wasn't like that. Her love was steady. It didn't depend on me being perfect or having it all together. It was just there, constant and quiet and real. But even knowing that, I still struggled. There were days when I felt like I was too much, when I felt guilty for needing her, when I felt like I was dragging her down with me. I would apologize constantly, saying sorry for crying, sorry for being sad, sorry for not being better. And every time she would shake her head and say, you don't have to apologize for being human. She made it sound so simple, but it wasn't simple for me. I had spent years believing that my feelings were a burden, that my pain was something I had to hide, that asking for help made me weak. But she taught me something different. She taught me that it was okay to not be okay, that it was okay to need someone, that letting someone in didn't make me weak. It made me brave. There was a night when I finally told her the thing I had been too scared to say. We were sitting on her couch, and she was talking about her day, and I just blurted it out. I'm scared, I said. She stopped talking and looked at me. Scared of what? She asked gently. I took a deep breath, my heart pounding. I'm scared that one day you'll wake up and realize I'm not worth it, that you'll get tired of me and leave, and I don't think I could handle that. My voice cracked, and I felt the tears coming again. I hated how vulnerable I sounded, how weak. But she didn't look at me like I was weak. She reached over and took my hand. I'm not going anywhere, she said. I know you're scared. I know you've been hurt before, but I'm not them. I'm here because I want to be, and I'm not leaving. I wanted to believe her so badly, but the fear was still there, sitting heavy in my chest. She must have seen it on my face because she squeezed my hand and said, you don't have to believe me right now. Just let me show you. And she did. Day after day, week after week, she showed me. She showed me with the way she texted me good morning, even when I didn't respond. She showed me with the way she brought me soup when I was sick. She showed me with the way she sat with me in silence when I didn't have the energy to talk. She showed me with the way she celebrated the small victories, like the days when I got out of bed or the days when I smiled a real smile. She showed me with the way she never made me feel like I was too much or not enough. She showed me with the way she hugged me, every single time I needed it, even when I didn't ask, even when I tried to push her away. She hugged me anyway. Slowly, something started to shift inside me. I started to believe just a little that maybe I wasn't as unlovable as I thought. Maybe love didn't have to be earned or deserved. Maybe love could just be given, freely and fully, without conditions. I started to let myself feel it, the warmth of her presence, the comfort of her arms, the safety of knowing she wasn't going to leave. I started to let myself hope that maybe, just maybe, I could be happy. Hope that maybe the darkness wouldn't last forever. Hope that maybe I was worth loving after all. But healing isn't a straight line. There were still hard days, days when the old thoughts came back, days when I felt like I was slipping backward. There was a day when I had a really bad moment, when I felt so overwhelmed that I shut down completely. I didn't answer her calls or texts. I just stayed in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling numb. She didn't push. She didn't demand that I talk to her. She just sent me a message that said, I'm here when you're ready. No pressure. I love you. And then she gave me space. That meant more to me than she probably knew. Because she didn't make me feel guilty for needing time. She didn't make me feel like I was failing. She just loved me through it. When I finally reached out to her a few days later, I expected her to be upset or frustrated. But she wasn't. She just asked if I was okay and if I wanted to talk or just be together. We met at the park and we walked in silence for a while. Eventually, I told her how hard it had been, how I felt like I was never going to get better, how I was tired of fighting my own mind. She listened without interrupting, and when I was done, she stopped walking and turned to face me. You're not alone in this, she said. You don't have to fight it by yourself. I'm right here, and I'm not going anywhere. We'll get through this together. And then, once again, she hugged me. She hugged me like she always did, like I mattered, like I was worth holding on to, like my struggles didn't make her love me any less. She hugged me anyway. I think that's when I finally understood what love really was. Love wasn't about being perfect or having everything figured out. Love wasn't about never struggling or never needing help. Love was about showing up. It was about staying even when things got hard. It was about holding someone when they couldn't hold themselves. It was about choosing someone over and over again, even when they couldn't see their own worth. She taught me that. She taught me that I didn't have to be whole to be loved. She taught me that my brokenness didn't make me unworthy. She taught me that sometimes the most powerful thing someone can do is just be there, arms open, ready to catch you when you fall. Now, when I look back at where I was and where I am now, I'm amazed at how much has changed. I'm not completely healed. I don't know if anyone ever is, but I'm better. I'm learning to be kinder to myself, to forgive myself for my past, to believe that I deserve good things. And a huge part of that is because of her. Because she loved me when I couldn't love myself, because she saw something in me that I couldn't see, because she refused to give up on me even when I had given up on myself. She didn't fix me. I had to do the work myself, but she gave me something I desperately needed, hope. Hope that things could get better. Hope that I wasn't alone. Hope that love was real and that I was worthy of it. These days, I try to show her how much she means to me. I try to be there for her the way she's been there for me. I try to listen when she's having a hard day, to hold her when she needs it, to remind her that she's loved. Because love isn't just about receiving, it's about giving too, and she deserves all the love in the world. She deserves to feel as safe and cherished as she made me feel. So I hug her too. I hug her when she's happy, when she's sad, when she's stressed, when she just needs to be held. I hug her the way she hugged me, with everything I have, with all the love and gratitude and hope in my heart. I hug her because she taught me that sometimes a hug is all you need to remember that you're not alone, that you're loved, that everything is going to be okay. Our story isn't perfect. We still have hard days. We still struggle sometimes, but we face it together, and that makes all the difference. She's taught me that love doesn't mean the absence of pain. It means having someone by your side when the pain comes. It means having someone who sees your darkness and doesn't run away. It means having someone who hugs you anyway, no matter what. And that's the most beautiful thing I've ever known. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if I'll ever be completely free from the shadows of my past. But I do know this. I'm not facing it alone anymore. I have her. And as long as I have her arms to fall into, as long as I have her love to hold on to, I know I'll be okay. Because she hugs me anyway, and that changes everything. Thank you for walking through this story with me. Thank you for listening, for understanding, for letting me share this piece of my heart. I hope this reminds you that you're not alone in your struggles, that your pain doesn't make you unlovable, that there is hope even in the darkest moments. If you're going through something hard right now, please know that you deserve love, you deserve kindness, and you deserve someone who will hug you anyway. And if you're lucky enough to have someone like that in your life, hold on to them. Tell them how much they mean to you. Love them with everything you have, because that kind of love, the kind that stays, the kind that doesn't give up, the kind that hugs you anyway, that's the kind of love that saves lives. It saved mine, and maybe, just maybe, it can save yours too. Take care of yourself, dear reader. You are loved, you matter, and you are worth fighting for.